Hello and welcome to the Wellness Rock Show with your host, Stephanie Deal, where we dive deep into women's health mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Together, we will discover through these 5 pillars how God designed our bodies to consume proper nutrition and how that applies to the creating optimal wealth in our lives. Here we will unravel all of the education and expertise that you need to get your body, mind, and soul in alignment with where it needs to be. As a disclaimer, I am not a doctor and I do not provide medical advice. Please speak to your primary physician before starting or stopping any medications. What is up, everybody? How is it going? I am so happy to, always be back with you every single week at the Wellness Rock. And it's been a very, very eventful week, year, month, every day. I feel like this year has absolutely flown by. I cannot believe it's already November and I'm sitting here with you guys. And we started this podcast back in May of 2023. So it's just super exciting to see how it's really evolved in, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, like 6-7 months. And just really see how it's changed and how we've grown and how the community has changed and developed. And I'm just really excited to see what continues to happen for the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. We're still going to be rocking and rolling together every Wednesday at 6 a.m. Eastern time. Unless we move, then, we don't know what'll happen. But I'm super excited to be here with you guys. And we have something like really, really passionate to my heart today that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And it's really about how journaling has helped me mentally and emotionally. So we're really going to hit on those 2 pillars today because I think it's really important to hit on the importance of really journaling and how it can affect your mental state, how it can affect your emotional state, and how it can affect your physical state at the end of the day. And your spiritual and even your financial, because you can journal about your finances and really create the life that you want to create. So with that being said, I really started journaling consistently in 2020. That was when I went to London and my grandma had given me a journal before I went, and she was like, I want you to journal your experience because you're going to be grateful for it one day. When you look back and you're going to want to know what you were thinking. You're going to want to know your thoughts. You're going to want to know your feelings. And to this day, I'm so grateful that she gave me that journal because when I want to relive that, because it was such a depressing time to get sent home during COVID. And I want to relive that experience when I was in London. I love reading, and I love reading how I felt. The first month I was so depressed. I wanted to go home, and when I read that, I feel that again. But then, I talked about how amazing my friends were in this community that I got around, and, everybody that I was around, was so exciting. And then we got sent home. And, ever since then, I've consistently journaled. Maybe not every single day. Maybe I've skipped a couple days. But for the most part, I've consistently journaled. And I think from that point, I think I had one and another one, and I'm thinking of 2 more, and I'm about to finish maybe my 5th. There might even be more, but 5 journals in about, that was 2020. So we're going on 3-4 years. And to just I really, really want to go back and read my journals and see how I've changed, seeing how I've developed, seeing what I've written down and manifested in my life, because that's a really big thing is and I'll really get into that later, about what to journal about. But I think that would be really cool to look back at my journals and see what I've created through my manifestation and my affirmations and all of that stuff. But I, my grandma was she wasn't a designated journalist, but she was a journalist. She could literally tell you, I was literally just joking with my mom about this because my mom couldn't remember the recipe to the lasagna that she made. She couldn't remember if she used 1 pack of noodles or 2 packs of noodles. And I was like, Grandma would have known. Grandma wrote down everything in her journal. Oh yeah, we used 2 packs of noodles, 3 jars of sauce. She would know. She would be let me just go back in my journal. And she would know. And every single night she would journal. And I yet have I have yet to like read her journals yet, but my stepdad gave me that option if I want to. So, one of these days, like I really want to take that opportunity. Who knows what she wrote about my bratty little self when I was younger, but it's really cool to know that like I have the opportunity to like see the words that she wrote, see how she felt, see what she thought, see everything that she wrote about us. Like it'll be a really cool experience to really go through those journals when I'm ready. So like I said, like she wrote every single night. Like she always told me, like, even if you just write what the weather was that day or write what you ate, whatever it may be, like just journal about it so that you can know something from that day that happened. And I love that she shared that with me. And my stepdad asked me actually like recently, he was like, do you journal because of grandma? And I was just like, you know what? Like, yes, like she always, like ever since I came into her life, like I came into my grandma's life when I was 6. So like ever since I was really young, like she'd always give me journals, and I would journal like a little. I think I still have like all the journals that she gave me in my little box, and I would just like write random things. But I did start journaling because of her, and I'm so grateful for that today because I journal about everything. I journal about how I'm feeling, about what I want in my life, about what I'm creating in my life, about who I want to be, what I want to attract. Like I journal about all these things. And that's why I said like I really want to go back and see kind of what I manifested in my life today, because I want to attract things into my life, and you can do that by journaling. Like it's a form of manifestation, like kind of like visualization. I don't personally visualize. It's something that I definitely want to incorporate more into my life, and I want to like share that with you guys and be able to share with you guys the power of visualization. But journaling is my form of visualization in a way, because I can sit there for hours and just write about my feelings and write about what I want and write about affirmations. And, when I journal in the morning, like I typically journal in the morning, not so much at night unless there was something that happened that day. And like I really want to write it down because of something that I experienced, or like after a big event, I really like to go through my 5 senses of what I experienced that event. So how did I feel? What did I see? What did I smell? What did I taste? What kind of food was there? Like, what kind of experience did I have? It really embody that feeling so that I can go back and read that and know exactly how I felt in that moment. Because that's really, really cool when you can go back and you can kind of hear and see what you experienced in that moment. Because, we can remember things from our mind, but it isn't necessarily like going to be the same unless we're able to take that time and write down what we thought, what we felt. Like it's really good to do that so that you can go back and experience that, even with like things that are going not so good in your life, and being able to like write down and work through that with yourself. Like know that like you're journaling to your future, like to your current self, your future self, your past self. Like you can journal to whoever you want to journal to. Like you can write forgiveness letters and rip them up and throw them away. Like journaling is just so powerful if you really tap into it and allow it to be powerful. And when I journal, like I was saying in the morning, I really journal as like I embody my higher version of myself, and I journal to my current version of myself. So I'll literally write like, good morning, Stephanie. Like you are doing amazing. You are creating the life that I'm living. Like you are working towards every day to becoming the woman that God is calling you to be. Like, and I write these things and I manifest these things, and every day you are beautifully and wonderfully made, because that is what God says about me. I am beautiful and wonderfully made. I am valuable. All these things are in the Bible. So like these are the things that I journal about myself, because these are the things that we can tend to forget about going through life, because we may experience something that causes our self-esteem to be destroyed, or we may go through a season, or we may go through 2 seasons, and we can look back at the Bible, and 2, we can journal about it and work through it with ourselves and with God. A lot of the times I'll pray by writing down. Sometimes I'm not very good. Like you may not get this because I do a podcast and like I talk to people all day, every day. Like that's what I do for my job. That's what I do for my career. That's what I do for my life. as I talk to people. But I'm not always the best at communicating in a stressful situation. So like, let's say that Ben and I are going through something, and sometimes I have a hard time expressing my feelings and my thoughts in that moment. And it's easier for me to write it down. Like, sometimes I've literally like written him a hand note that is like expressed how I feel, because that's the way that I've expressed to myself how I feel. That's the way that I've written for 3 going on 4 years. And it's honestly easy. It's an easier way for me to express myself and for me to share my thoughts, me to share my feelings. And that's not always a bad thing. You just find what works for you. And maybe you're resonating with this, like you don't really know how to communicate in a stressful situation. Try writing a note to somebody. Try saying like, I'm having a hard time articulating my thoughts and feelings, so I'm going to try to write you a letter so that maybe you can understand it this way better. So, like I said, like I journal from my highest self to my current self, and I journal about my feelings. I journal about what I want. I literally wrote a list of everything that I want in my journal, and I can read that and I can go back and look at that, and in 3 years I can journal and see, like, check things off that I've accomplished or that I've done. And it's just really cool to like look back at that. I journal about affirmations. Like I said, like I wrote, you are beautifully and wonderfully made. You are financially successful. You are a powerhouse woman. Like, you are building a team full of powerful women. Like, you are a bomb leader. Like, all these things that maybe it's not necessarily, maybe there's some things that I don't necessarily believe about myself right now, but I'm manifesting that and I'm creating that and I'm affirming that over my life. Because if God gives you a vision, and if you see this vision over and over again, and that, like, God gave you that vision for a reason. It's not just there because, oh, you're just a master visualizer and like you have all these, you're a psychic. Like, no, God planted that vision on your heart, planted that vision on your mind to go out and create it. So what are you doing every single day to go out and create and go out and make that vision happen for your life? And who do you have to become in order to make that happen? That's the biggest thing, is like becoming that person to make it happen. And I feel like through my journaling, I've really watched myself grow throughout the years to really acquire and become that person that I journal about, that I want to be. Like, if I go and look back, I know that I journaled to the person that I am today. And I know that I'm different from the person that I was 2 years ago, because I know how much I've changed. I know how much I've evolved. And I still have so much more to do, so much more room to grow. And that's just a testimony to keep journaling, to keep affirming, to keep manifesting, and watch that take place in my life. So you can do the same as well. If you're not someone who has journaled, or if journaling feels weird for you, give it a shot. You never know like what you're going to like until you do it. You never know if you don't like. I think I've said this before. If you don't know what you don't know, then you don't know what to study. You don't know what to do. You don't know what you like. So why not try everything, see what you like, try it for a little bit. If you don't like it, move on to something else. If you don't like journaling, move on to visualizing and laying there and literally visualizing, talking to yourself, visualizing you achieving that goal, doing these things. And I believe that you can really create whatever you want in your life. And that's really what I wanted to hit on today. I know these episodes have been kind of short, but I want to keep them short and sweet for you guys, so that you guys, you don't have to sit here all day, every day and listen to these episodes, but it's a little boost of like, okay, she gave me this tidbit. Now I get to go out, because it's not about doing all these things all the time and doing one thing and then missing out on another thing. But it's about like doing these small things over time, stacking them upon each other and doing them consistently, so that you can create everything that you want to create. I know I keep talking about this, but that's really what this podcast is about, is creating that optimal wealth. So you start with this thing and you stack this thing, you stack that thing, you stack that thing, but you can't let this thing fall off. You have to keep stacking consistently and create that consistency in your life, but you have to do things, you have to figure out if that works for you, and you have to